How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, and today we are going to be doing that review on Hazzerd's first full-length album called Misleading Evil. And yeah, it is one hell of an album, let me tell you that. This is a copy of it here. Excellent stuff. Showed it off in a couple of updates when I did the unboxing for this package with the shirt and the patch, and I also showed this off and a thrash update as well. Cannot stop talking about them, and I'll tell you why. If you don't know Hazzerd, they are a Canadian thrash band from Calgary, Alberta. The members in this are Dylan Westendorp on drums and vocals, which is no feat, let me tell you that, to do both at the same time. Brandon Malachy and Torian Shadlick on guitar and backing vocals, they both do that. And David Prague on bass and backing vocals as well. So speaking of vocals, let's talk about them. The vocals are center of the mix, on par with the guitar, or maybe just slightly above. Most of the time they are kind of your just generalized raspy shouts for thrash. But he also does kind of sporadic, now I'm talking about Dylan of course, sporadic high-pitched vocal stylings, and they seem to be slightly processed. There seems to be some sort of effects put on it. Not super duper heavy, but you can notice it's there. You can tell it's not just raw double layered vocals. They're very enjoyable, however, though, and they are fairly recognizable. He's not just like another Hetfield clone. These vocals are performed fairly consistent. There's no signs of struggling or weakness there. I even feel that he's kind of maybe even holding back, because you kind of get a sense that he can do a lot more, especially in the song Apocalypse Dawn, where he lets out these highs and then it goes even higher and like crazier. But like, I feel like if he had more time to just do vocals, he would be able to just let it soar and just rip. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do in a new album vocal-wise. But we'll get more into that later on my overall thoughts. Now for the guitar, it's medium to high in the mix. Good panning, good stereo sound with the guitar. Very unique tone. They're kind of like this medium kind of crunchy tone, a little bit of gain, probably quite a bit of distortion. Pretty decent though. There's some great harmonies in this. There's a lot of great harmonies and a lot of solo work in this album. Really, really good. Lots of energy. There's, as you'd expect, there's fast riffs and there's a fair bit of technicality considering this is thrash. And of course it's heavy and very headbangable. You'll find yourself headbanging to a lot of these riffs. They also incorporated some decent melodic and slower parts as well, mostly featured in the Misleading Evil instrumental track, but there's a couple of songs in here too where they don't just go blistering fast either, and it's an enjoyable little slight break before it picks up again and kind of just destroys everything. Now for the bass is kind of low mix and in the background, but if you listen for it, you can hear it. It's punchy and kind of like a clunky sound. It's not they're not going for a smooth bass or a very buttery bass sound. They're going for a clangy, like throbbing attack. They're not holding anything back with this bass sound. It's every now and then given a chance to give its like quick little shine, do its thing, and then it's back to business. An example of this is kind of in the middle of the song called The Fallen, which happens right after the Misleading Evil instrumental track. Now for the drums. It's a medium to just above medium level in the mix. Well done mixing with these drums, by the way. I love pretty much all the mixing that was done on this album, so kudos to whoever did the recording on this. Should probably have looked that up, but fuck it. Anyways, great double kicks on this album. Some really, really good gallops. Very nice use of fills and tom work as well. The snare tone's alright. It's not like as crisp and like punchy as I'd like, but it's got like this medium crisp tone. I assumed he loosened off the snare a teeny bit. It's not super tight, but it's also not like trash can loose. It's no fucking Saint Anchor, thank God for that. So yeah, and he also who I'm talking about, of course, Dylan on drums. He also uses like some pretty good bells and ride sounds throughout here, just to give that like metal-y feel. I really enjoy when drummers kind of go to the way to add some little extra noises in there, just besides the typical toms and splashes and crashes and your big, you know, 24-inch ride or whatever. But yeah, so he's got really good timing as well. Didn't showboat, keeps good beat and going, and he adds some proper amount of accentuation where it is required, or not required, I guess, the way you'd look at it. But yeah, he doesn't showboat. He doesn't try to do too much that doesn't need to be done. He complements the riffs really well, and just it adds so much more to the songs. Now, my favorite tracks on this album are, first of all, The Fallen. The beginning riff, that chuggy starter riff, dun 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 dun, fucking excellent. I love that shit. It hits at the beginning, it hits somewhere in the middle, and it picks up somewhere, I think, 3/4 of the way through the song as well. Love that riff. Really, really punchy, really energetic, really thrash. Really good stuff. And then, so that's number 5, which is The Fallen. That's my favorite track. And then the next on the list is the first track, the opening track, being Tendencies of a Madman. It's just got a great overall sound to it, some really, really decent riffs, high energy, and I'd say it's a really, really good choice for a, you know, the first song on the album. Grabs your attention, it shows you what's about to come, and doesn't blow its entire load right away. It's probably up in the 8 out of 10 range of like track goodness, and it shows you there's going to be some good stuff coming. It shows you there's a variety of different stuff they have to offer. Tendencies of a Madman was probably the best track to lead this album off with, so kudos to choosing that one as your first starter track. And the third favorite track on this album is Absolute Destruction. Now, I was kind of humming and hawing about this. I was thinking like Absolute Destruction or Apocalypse Dawn, but once I listened to Absolute Destruction for like the 4th or 5th time through, I'm like, it's going to be this one, because it's got that Metallica / Iron Maiden feel to some of the riffs. The lead riffs were excellent in it, and just kind of takes you back to the old days of thrash. It's a really, really good track, and just the name Absolute Destruction is perfect for it. So yeah, those are my favorite tracks: The Fallen, Tendencies of a Madman, and Absolute Destruction. But that doesn't mean that I didn't like the other tracks, because trust me, the other tracks were also excellent as well. Now, my overall thoughts for this album is that it has quite the Metallica, Iron Maiden, and Falconer feel to some of it, but it also still maintains its own unique sound. It still has its own voice. You could be easily mistaken to think that this was from the 1980s. Like, you could be listening to this in 1987, or you could be listening to it in 2017 when it was released. It's got a very old school vibe, but with also a new school twist, if that makes any sense. So it's not dated, but it also could be right next to your Metallica and your Megadeth and your fucking Anthrax and Slayer albums. Like, it could be right up there at the big four. Like, it's really, really good. Stands out on its own though. Excellently executed, and it is an epic to listen to. I'm just kind of itching for more material now at this point. The new album cannot come any faster, in my opinion. These dudes definitely have a very bright future in the thrash business. So kudos to Hazzerd from Alberta, Canada on this amazing album. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. The only possible thing that I could think of to make this any better is maybe some less processed sounding effects on the vocals. I really want to hear Dylan's vocals, maybe not like super raw, but like I want to hear him. I don't want to hear the computer, whatever it's doing to it. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like there's some effects on there, but I want to hear him, and I know he can do way more than what he's doing just from the few quick shimmers of excellence I hear on a couple of these tracks. My suggestion, if you want to take it or not, of course, is maybe find a drummer with just as much talent as yourself, Mr. Westendorp, and put him there so you can focus and really let go on the vocals, because I see something there that I think really, really needs to shine, and I cannot wait to see what you do with it if you do that. And just kind of a front man for a band is pretty important, especially for live shows. If you're just sitting behind the kit singing away and you got two guitarists there just doing the odd backup vocals, there's no one, you know, riling up the crowd. There's no one getting involved. There's no one, like, you know, commanding the crowd to do what they do. For example, Warbringer, the guy that fronts that band, is like really intense, really like riles the crowd up, and I know Dylan can do it. So maybe if you're thinking of doing that in the future and just need someone to wink wink nudge nudge you to do it, like convince you, there you go. There's your hint, bud. But yeah, this band is amazing. Cannot wait for the new stuff. I still need to get that fucking that demo or EP that came out before it, with the BTK song on it. Really, really good stuff. But yeah, cannot wait for the new album. 9.5 out of 10. I'm Jesse Morgan, and I did buy this album. For Glory, for the Rebellion, Slammerella out.